I'm Rick Jensen with Magnum Media. Here we are. It is the month of April. April showers bringing Mayflowers, and of course, as we all know, Mayflowers bring pilgrims. Welcoming you to the latest chapter of the Fireman Kenny Show.
WPLG 715, Fireman Kenny's on the air, helping you to stay safe in a world where danger never takes a vacation. Thanks again to Rick Jensen for helping to continue the show in the former WIBD format. Be sure to listen to Magnum Media's WRYU on 101.3 FM and AM 1470 in West Bend, as well as 93.9 FM in Cedarburg. You can also live stream the station by visiting rockwryu.com or listen on Alexa by saying, "Alexa, play WRYU." And this show is looking for sponsors as well. If you'd like to sponsor the Fireman Kenny Show, feel free to contact us for potential sponsorship opportunities. We're listing Fire Suppression Solutions as one of our sponsors for the fire suppression tools, or the FSTs, and other items donated to the West Bend Fire Department and other fire departments and law enforcement agencies throughout Wisconsin. First, here's a word from Fire Suppression Solutions.
Fire can strike without warning, leaving you with precious little time to react. And if you are not prepared, the damage can be devastating to life and property. In the blink of an eye, your home or business could be on fire, with flames doubling in size every 30 seconds, leaving you helpless and unable to respond. Don't let this nightmare become a reality. That starts with being prepared. Our fire suppression products are designed to equip you with an effective response to any fire emergency, all while limiting additional damage, making you the true first responder, giving you the peace of mind that you have what you need to keep your loved ones and property safe until more help comes. Do you have a plan to respond to a fire emergency at your home or business? Protect your family, pets, and property with the tools from Fire Suppression Solutions. Contact us today and finish putting your plan into effect before it's too late.
For more information on Fire Suppression Solutions, you can visit firess.us. And we also have the National Fire Sprinkler Association as a sponsor, and we'll talk about the National Fire Sprinkler Association later in the show when we highlight NFSA reported sprinkler saves. So first we have our monthly shout-outs, and we have a couple of fire service RIPs to deliver. So the first one is the former Jackson Fire Department Fire Marshal and Slinger Fire Department Fire Chief, Chuck Ritten. Chuck passed away on March 25th after a brief battle with cancer. Chuck was a volunteer member of the Slinger Fire Department from 1985 until 2012, and he was the full-time fire marshal for the Jackson Fire Department from 1999 until 2020. Chuck had a passion for fire prevention and was a principal officer for the Area 6 chapter of the Wisconsin State Fire Inspectors Association for many years. Chuck was just a really great person and will be greatly missed. And Chuck was also on the interview board for when I got the fire prevention position with the West Bend Fire Department. Chuck has been a great friend for a lot of years, and I will greatly miss him and all of his passion for the fire service. And our second loss is from the Allenton Fire Department. So Jim Strupp passed away on March 24th. Jim served on the Allenton Fire Department for approximately 20 years, and he had recently retired from Cedar Community. Jim will also be greatly missed. And I ran into Jim quite often when I was doing fire inspections over at Cedar Community. Just a great guy, and he was another guy that had a passion for the fire service and will be missed greatly. Thank you to Sales Director David Leppingwell and Regional Sales Manager Kathy Rose from Honeywell for conducting training on lithium-ion battery safety for the WSFIA Area 1 chapter members at the Somers Fire Department on March 26th. The focus of the training was on the Li-ion Tamer Gen 3 off-gas detection system and the X-Tralis vapor detection system. So those are two systems that can detect vapors from lithium-ion batteries before they ignite and go into thermal runaway. Great training for the fire inspectors who are in attendance, and hopefully this will help gain attention to the problems, any problems with lithium-ion battery fires, and make sure that we get early detection with these vapor detection systems.
Now, lithium-ion batteries, they run from like AAA size all the way up to some industrial uses, right?
Exactly. So you can find them pretty much anywhere. So you can find them in anywhere from as small as your cell phone to as large as in your battery-operated cars, or even in battery-powered backup systems that are in buildings that are meant to do nothing more than have battery backups for data storage. And so you can have just a large amount of batteries inside a building, and that way these batteries will help keep the data safe from and accessible during power outages.
Gotcha. All right.
And we have a number of guests to thank for taking the time to be on the Fireman Kenny Show podcast. So if you've missed some of the episodes, feel free to visit our page on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen to episodes of the show. These guests include Ashley Tracy and Bria Thallaker from Children's Wisconsin to talk about Distracted Driving Awareness Month, Chief Commercial Officer Paul Jameson from LifeSafe Technologies to talk about their fire suppression products, Bree Campbell and Dr. Ryan Feldman from the Wisconsin Poison Center to talk about National Poison Prevention Week. And Dr. Feldman also has his own show on Spotify called The Poison Lab, so talking about anything dealing with poisons and medications. And finally, Joe Holtman and Lisa Barbian from the MS Society to talk about MS Awareness Week.
All right. Lots going on once again. How about sprinkler saves?
Yeah, so we have our monthly sprinkler saves, or otherwise known as fires you never hear about, because there is no news in something that was stopped from happening. And as I pointed out, I'm an advocate of fire sprinkler systems and a dues-paying member of the National Fire Sprinkler Association, www.nfsa.org. Be sure to follow the National Fire Sprinkler Association on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We went with a common theme for all three sprinkler saves. So the theme for this month is improper disposal of smoking materials. So our first sprinkler saves come from the City of Madison Fire Department. Thank you to Public Information Officer Cynthia Schuster for posting this one. An automatic fire sprinkler is credited for catching and extinguishing a fire that ignited on an outside deck of an East Side apartment. On Saturday, March 15th at 6:42 p.m., firefighters were dispatched to 1 Windstone Drive for a water flow alarm. Engine 13 found an activated fire sprinkler on an outside deck on the 4th floor of the building. Upon further investigation, they found a fire had occurred on the 3rd floor deck below. The sprinkler caught the fire quickly, minimizing damage and preventing the displacement of several occupants. Damage from the fire included a deck chair and some building siding. The cause of the fire was an improperly discarded cigarette.
You know, this is one of those things that kind of amazes me that we still talk about. It's not a hard thing to find somewhere to put your cigarette out that doesn't start on fire.
Exactly. And the biggest thing is, because we know cigarettes burn, cigarettes are hot, we should be putting those discarded cigarettes or cigarette butts into something that is non-combustible. So that would be like a metal pan of some sort, a metal bucket of some sort. If you're going to use something plastic, you can fill it with sand and make sure you put that cigarette in the middle and not near the plastic. And the best way to do it is to make sure that you wet that cigarette butt when you're disposing of it.
Right. All right. How about save two?
Our second sprinkler save comes from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you to WCNC News for reporting this incident. A structure fire broke out early in the morning on Wednesday, March 19th in a multi-story senior living facility located in the 5800 block of Fairview Road. The Charlotte Fire Department responded promptly, calling a second alarm to manage the situation. The fire, which was confined to a single apartment unit, was brought under control within 55 minutes. The building sprinkler system played a crucial role in containing the blaze, though it did result in some water damage. Fortunately, no injuries were reported and only one resident was displaced. Management has arranged accommodation for the affected individual, and Red Cross assistance was deemed unnecessary. The Charlotte Fire Investigation Task Force has determined that the fire was accidental, likely caused by improperly discarded smoking materials. The estimated property and content loss is around $100,000. The Charlotte Fire Department continues to investigate the incident to ensure the safety and well-being of all residents.
That one could have been really bad.
That one could have been terribly bad. And again, being in a senior living facility, the people that ended up there probably ended up there because of smoking to begin with. They did not stop smoking. So at some point, these people have to stop smoking and be able to discard. If they aren't going to stop smoking, then they have to properly discard the smoking materials.
Exactly. All right. And do we have one more?
Yeah, and our last save comes from Palm Harbor, Florida. Thank you to iontv.com for covering this story. The fire at the View Lake Tarpon, which is a hotel located on U.S. Highway 19 North, was contained early in the morning of Thursday, March 27th, by the building's fire sprinkler system. Fire investigators determined the fire, which started at approximately 4:10 a.m., was caused by a female occupant falling asleep while smoking in bed.
No way.
I'm shocked and dismayed, and I'm beside myself with anger and grief. The fire alarm activated, prompting a neighbor to break down the door and rescue the occupant. The sprinkler system extinguished the flames before they could spread beyond the room. Emergency responders transported the occupant to a local hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Smoking in bed is a significant fire hazard, as falling asleep with a lit cigarette can quickly ignite bedding and other flammable materials. Officials emphasize that this incident highlights the importance of fire sprinklers and working fire alarms in preventing major damage and protecting lives.
So this is a hotel, so she probably shouldn't have been smoking in the room anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that is probably frowned upon by that hotel, and I'm sure they frowned even more when the fire started. So make sure that if you're in a hotel, you are following the guidelines that the hotel has set forth, and it's for your safety as well. Do not smoke in a hotel. Do not smoke in a bed. Do not smoke before you fall asleep.
Exactly. So yeah, because I'm pretty sure that I wonder if it is a state situation where they regulate whether you can smoke in rooms or not.
Yeah, I would think so, and I don't know if I have to look through the codes, but I'm thinking it's probably in some states, it's probably in some of the fire codes, and I'm sure it's also an insurance issue, because I'm sure insurance losses from people smoking in hotels has got to be pretty high, and I'm sure the insurance companies are frowning on it just as much as I am, and
yes,
telling these hotels do not allow smoking in your hotel rooms.
All right. Well, shall we move on?
Yeah, so we've got National Safe Digging Month in April. So the Common Ground Alliance and the U.S. Department of Transportation's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration has declared April as National Safe Digging Month. National Safe Digging Month to remind everyone to call 811 a few days before any home or commercial digging project. So PHMSA has partnered with states and other pipeline safety stakeholders to increase awareness of safe digging practices, and calling 811 since it was designated as the national one-call number for anyone planning a digging project anywhere in America in 2005. Whether you're landscaping your yard, building a deck, or installing a mailbox at your home, it's absolutely essential to call 811 before any excavation project, said U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Just remembering to take that step could save your life and help keep your neighbors, your community, and your environment safe. Calling 811 connects you to your local underground utility operators who will mark the approximate location of buried natural gas, electric, telecommunications, water, and sewer lines that may be in the vicinity of where you plan to dig. According to the Common Ground Alliance DIRT report, so that's the Damage Information Reporting Tool, there were 211,887 total damage reports in 2023.
Wow.
So that's a lot. That's a lot going on throughout this country. So the 6 root causes of the incidents are no notification, excavator failed to maintain clearance after verifying marks, facility not marked due to locator error, improper excavation practice not listed anywhere. So this is number 4 because there's 25 total choices, and that one if it doesn't fit in the 25 total choices, it becomes in the stuff that's not listed anywhere. Number 5, marked inaccurately due to locator error. And the last, number 6, excavator dug prior to verifying marks by potholing. So for more information on safe digging practices, you can visit call811.com.
It's really, even for a small project like putting in a mailbox or whatever, you really do need to call because you don't know where those lines are.
Exactly. And if you do call, especially make sure that you know what the markers mean. So the West Bend Fire Department had a call about 3, 4, 5 years ago where they actually came out to mark the area because they were going to put up a tent. However, the technician that was installing the tent thought that those were marks on where to put the markers. So as he was putting in the stakes, then he actually hit a natural gas pipeline, which could have been extremely dangerous for where the parking lot was for the building that was there. So again, making sure not only when you call, but making sure that anybody you send out to do the work understands what the markings are for.
Right. All right. What else is going on?
So we got National Dog Bite Prevention Week, which is April 13th through the 19th. So the American Veterinary Medical Association has declared April 13th to the 19th as National Dog Bite Prevention Week. According to the latest data from the American Veterinary Medical Association, 45% of U.S. households include a dog or dogs for a total of 88 million canine companions in the United States. While most of these dogs will coexist peacefully with us, dog bites remain a serious public health risk, with more than 4.5 million people bitten each year in the United States. During National Dog Bite Prevention Week, a coalition of veterinarians, animal behavior experts, and insurance representatives are spreading awareness of this issue and sharing tips on how to prevent dog bites from happening. A particular concern is the increased risk of dog bites to delivery drivers. E-commerce sales as a percentage of total retail sales have doubled in the past 7 years, and many Americans are having more and more deliveries brought to their doors. These interactions have the potential for trouble, but with a little planning, training, and preparation, dog owners can make sure these interactions are safe. All dogs, even well-trained gentle dogs, are capable of biting when provoked. This can include when they're eating, sleeping, caring for puppies, or when an unexpected stranger, such as a delivery driver, approaches the house. To help prevent bites in these situations, the National Dog Bite Prevention Coalition offers the following advice. Secure your dog. Make sure your dog is secured in a separate room, crate, or fenced area during delivery times. This prevents any surprise encounters between your dog and the delivery driver. Do not leave your dog unleashed in your front yard when you expect a delivery. Train your dog. Train your dog to be comfortable with strangers and to follow basic commands. Socialize your dog. Expose your dog to a variety of people, animals, and environments to help them become more comfortable with new situations. Communicate with delivery services. If possible, notify delivery services about your dog and any special instructions for delivering packages to your home. Monitor your dog's behavior. Regularly monitor your dog's behavior and consult with your veterinarian if you notice any signs of aggressive behavior. Don't ever leave children unsupervised with dogs, even with family pets. More than 50% of all dog-related injuries are to children, and for kids that are under 4 years of age, often these bites are to the head and neck region. American Humane offers a free online booklet available for families with children called Pets Meet Babies, providing valuable information on introducing a new child to a home with a pet or a new pet into a home with a child. And lastly, always monitor your dog's activity, even when they are in the backyard at your own house, because they can be startled by something, get out of the yard, and possible injury to somebody and be injured themselves. For more information, you can visit the American Veterinary Medical Association website, www.avma.org. And speaking of dogs, for those of you that are in the West Bend area, just a reminder that the annual Mulch Day at the West Bend Dog Park will be Saturday, May 3rd, starting at 8 a.m.
Mulch Day.
Yep. So we make sure to spread mulch on the trails. So because those trails can become pretty muddy. So the Parks Department does a great job coming through, putting mulch down. And then all the people who are members of the park, as well as a number of other volunteers, come to the park on Saturday, May 3rd to be able and bring your rakes, bring your shovels, and bring your wheelbarrows. And we can get that mulch done in probably 2 to 3 hours where we spread mulch on the trails. And it's even easier now that the Kubota that's at the dog park, we have a plow for it. So I get to spend the few days before kind of flattening out piles. And then that just makes it a lot easier and faster to be able to spread that mulch throughout the rest of the trails around the edges of the park and on the interior of the park as well.
Did I ever tell you that I got bit in the face by a Great Dane?
No.
I was
tell that story and prevention methods to stop from getting bit in the face by a Great Dane.
I was probably 7 or 8 years old and to spend time with my great aunt, and she worked at a liquor store, which is nice, I guess. But I then didn't appreciate that at 7 or 8, I suppose. But the owners had a Great Dane that roamed around the store, and me being a little kid came up on him while he was sleeping, and he woke up and took a bite in my face, missed my eye by about an inch. And I've still got a couple of scars from it, and it could have been much worse. But yeah, I learned a good lesson there about letting sleeping dogs lie, got to tell you.
Yep. And that's one of the things that parents really need to teach children is not to disturb a sleeping dog or because let's say my dog, so Zoe is a treeing Walker Coonhound. She's 70 pounds. So kids that are ages between 4 to 7 years old are at her same height, and not to just approach the dog face to face. So all those things that parents need to teach their kids on how to keep their kids safe around dogs, teach them at an early age and teach them how to interact with not only dogs, but every kind of pet so that they don't get bitten.
Absolutely. Oh, we're getting into the time of year where there seems to be something to be aware of pretty much every day. What do you got?
Yeah, so we got for April, World Autism Month, National Alcohol Awareness Month, National Child Abuse Prevention Month, Distracted Driving Awareness Month, National Donate Life Awareness Month, National Safe Digging Month, which we talked about, National Youth Sports Safety Month, National Public Health Week, April 7th through the 13th. National Window Safety Week is April 7th to the 13th. National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So that's April 13th through the 19th. So that's a time to honor our 911 dispatchers. And National Work Zone Awareness Week is April 21st through the 25th. Then in May, these are, I'm just going to give a partial list, but there are so many community risk reduction awareness campaigns that I could do one every day and not repeat them. So for May, we've got Stroke Awareness Month, Trauma Awareness Month, Water Safety Month, Building Safety Month, National Electrical Safety Month, Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, Wildfire Community Preparedness Day is Saturday, May 3rd. National Drinking Water Week is May 4th through the 10th. National Safety Stand Down Prevent Falls in Construction, May 5th through the 9th. National Air Quality Awareness Week, May 5th through the 9th, which is also Teacher Appreciation Week. Arson Awareness Week, May 4th through the 10th. National Nurses Week, May 6th through the 12th. So that's always an odd one because it always ends on May 12th, which is Florence Nightingale's birthday. National Police Week, which is May 11th through the 17th. Home Fire Sprinkler Week is the same week. Emergency Medical Services Week, May 18th to the 24th. And National Safe Boating Week, May 17th to the 23rd.
Just ahead of the Memorial Day holiday.
Yep, exactly. So we want to make sure that we are safe the entire month of May so that way we can have a safe Memorial Day weekend.
There we are. All right. Well, thank you once again for joining, for taking time out to chat. And I think we covered a lot here, and like we always do. And hopefully people are getting this information, sharing it with others, and maybe we'll move up to 12 or 13 listeners sometime in the near future.
We could only hope. So thanks again, Rick, for joining me on the show. WPLD 715, Fireman Kenny's returning to quarters.
Working together with first responders throughout Southeast Wisconsin, you can help keep our communities safe. They answer the call to be there for you whenever needed. Fire Suppression Solutions proudly salutes our first responders. Here's another important message from the Milwaukee Media Group.
I'm Community Outreach Specialist Cody Zhang with the Wauwatosa Fire Department. Carbon monoxide poisonings cause over 400 deaths and over 50,000 emergency room visits each year. During Carbon Monoxide Awareness Month, be sure to install carbon monoxide alarms on each level of your home. Have fuel-burning appliances such as furnaces, clothes dryers, and water heaters, as well as chimneys and vents inspected each year by a qualified professional. And finally, never leave a car running in the garage, even if the garage door is open.
The Milwaukee Media Group and Fire Suppression Solutions are proud to salute our first responders. Get more information and links to first responders throughout Southeast Wisconsin online now at milwaukeemediagroup.com.